This is a video on my Marlin XT-17 that's been Scoutized. Yeah, not sporterized, but Scoutized. As you can see, this is a, I don't know if you're familiar, but this is a Steyr Scout stock. It's been somewhat modified. Bear with me for 1 minute. Okay. I had this originally came. There's a Marlin XT-17, 17 HMR, and this originally came with a plain wooden walnut stock, which was actually pretty heavy. And since these bull barrels are not light to begin with, I mean, it's not that it's heavy to me, but with the walnut stock, for a rimfire, it was a little on the chunky side. Like, it's not too heavy to me, but if, you know, with the walnut stock, if I had given it to my fiance or something to shoot, she would have been like, oh, you know. So even with these, this is hardwood grips that I put on. There's a fore end that I made, because when I got this stock, the Steyr stock, didn't have that, didn't have this, and didn't have anything here. So I added all that because they were selling these cheap, minus the bipod that these originally came with, and the inserts. It was just the stock. Numrich was getting rid of these a number of years back, a few years back. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, for cheap. So I kind of figured, well, I'll try it and see if I can mount it, and this was the result. So yeah, I kind of like it. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the 17 HMR. You know, this is a good gun. It's you know, uses a magazine. It's a 7-rounder. It came with a 4-rounder right there. I don't know why Marlin gave you a 4-rounder. It seems kind of small, but even the 7-rounder, I said I bought this a couple of years ago, and to mention, you know, I mean, I don't know if you can tell from my accent, but I'm, you know, live in New York and have for the majority of my life, and although, you know, even though I have a Brooklyn accent, I haven't lived in New York City for many, many years, decades and decades. The SAFE Act in New York, actually, when it first came out, up until like I think a year, maybe a year and a half ago, it prevented you from buying a 10-round clip, because it said in the SAFE Act you only have 7 rounds. And then when they put it in front of judges, you know, a lot of the New York judges, especially north of the, you know, the New York City area, but the majority, you know, of legal gun owners are in New York, it would seem. Well, I don't know if that's entirely true, but I would say that it seems that way. The judges up here anyway, they thought it was ridiculous, so now you can get a 10-round clip, so I have to buy one. That's basically the gist of it. I actually bought this gun, I've had it for 5.5 years, which was before the SAFE Act. So that's why I didn't know why Marlin gave you such a small clip, you know. But maybe they were just playing it safe, like, because you know, the different rules in different states. Of course, New York is one of the worst as far as stuff like that. But anyway, this is a BSA classic scope, which is, it came with that, and it's kind of a it's an okay scope, you know. Like I said, you know, I was just shooting this out to about 50 or 60 yards, and I was sighting in this scope, and I was shooting half-inch groups and shooting through some of the same holes that I had already shot. So the scope isn't too bad, but I would give more to the gun and to the round than to the scope. These shoot extremely straight and extremely flat. Like I said, you know, some people complain about 17s, being a pass-through round, because like a 22 shoots like 1,200 feet per second, and 22 Magnum is under 2,000. It's like 18 on average, I think. So they do like they tend to to spread out upon impact a little bit, and cause some damage. Whereas 17 caliber bullet between 23 and 2,500 feet per second. I mean, 2,500 feet per second. Yes, it doesn't. In small, in small targets, it tends not to get a chance to flatten out as much, But again, they shoot extremely straight and flat. You would have no problem, being accurate with these, 150 yards. Let alone like 75 or something like that. So there's no reason with a good scope or a good set of sights with the 17 HMR that you shouldn't hit exactly where you're aiming. Like I said, I was just testing my, sighting in my scope, and I was shooting through holes I had already shot. That's how flat and straight and how accurate it is. So, if anybody complains that, it's not doing enough damage to the target, I think, they need to go back and sight, work with their sights or sight in their scope better, because, except the accuracy is there. There's no reason you should be missing where you're intending to put your bullet. So that's why I like it. Like I said, I've had it for the better part of almost 6 years, and it's been good to me. As far as like small game, I mean, the only thing that the only firearm that I would consider to be in a long gun to be just as good as far as small game would be like a 20 gauge shotgun. I mean, I've had more luck with 20 gauge shotguns than anything. 12 is just too much in my opinion for small game. And 410 is, I don't know, I think it's a lot of puny side as far as shotguns go, but some people like them. I think it's just a trendy thing, but But anyway, I don't want to talk about 20 gauge. 17 HMR. This is a 17 HMR, bullet right there. It's got the little tip on it. This is G plug. This is a CCI VMAX. I buy a lot of this stuff at at Walmart. It's just the cheapest one there. I think it's like I paid between $6 and $8 a box most of the time. Depending where I buy it, Walmart's usually like 6 or 7. And which isn't expensive. It's it's not as cheap as say 22, but you know what? This I've had this gun, like I said, 5.5 years, and I've cleaned it 5 times. But shooting ammo like this, I rarely, does this gun get dirty. I mean, like I said, 5 times I've cleaned it. I like these clips. There's no residue on them. They're not dirty. They don't get dirty. I haven't had to clean them once. That's how clean this ammo shoots. Any of the 17 ammo, as opposed to a lead-nosed 22. Yeah, it's pretty nasty stuff. This is not. This stuff is, like I said, it's one of the cleanest guns. Cleanest shooting guns. Not only one of the most accurate, but it's also like one of the cleanest. Because generally, I think it's not just the rounded design. I think it's the fact that it's small, and the fact that the ammo tends to be more higher quality than the 22 ammo, which tends to be really cheap stuff. Not only in price, but in quality. But anyway, like I said, I kind of like this the setup that I have now. I mean, it's compared to like a plain old walnut heavy stock. I have, I can have my sling on there. I got a good rubber bumper, which in this, granted, you really don't need as much recoil, but it's nice, to put on your shoulder. And I prefer a wide grip. It gives me stability. And so, I like to grab, a little bit forward, so I like the feel of that. You see the actions of these too. It's got a great bolt. It's got the perfect, movement. Short. It's got a nice bent bolt. It's easy to work. I think Marlin did, makes pretty good guns, and I think that's a pretty good gun. It wasn't too cheap, really. I mean, excuse me, when I bought that, I think I bought it as a birthday present for myself. So I actually bought it right around my birthday, and I paid around $300 for it. But it was brand new in the box. I mean, literally, it was in the box with all the stuff from Marlin and everything. And that was in the store. I didn't have to order or anything. It was just right there. And, it just didn't come with sights, which is the only thing I found. I mean, I guess it's designed for scope. They do make them with sights, but maybe not the bull barrel. I don't know. It would be nice if it had a front sight on it, because it would have to be tapped now if I wanted a front sight. Which I could do myself, but I suppose I don't have any reason to, so I left it like it is. So, like I said, this is the XT-17 Marlin 17 HMR. It's a sporterized version by me, Scoutized as I call it, because of the Steyr Scout stock. And that's it. Thanks.